better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Today we're joined by current Red Bull center back Sean Nealis, a Long Island and Massapequa native like myself. Sean played college ball at Hofstra before being drafted by the New York Red Bulls and playing for the second team. Sean worked his way into the first team's plans and has made 23 appearances this year, solidifying himself as a regular starter starting the last 11 games. The Red Bulls are currently in 9th place, just 1 point out of a playoff spot, with the playoffs starting about a month from now. So we're excited to take a dive into the mind of an MLS player. All right, Sean Nealis, welcome to Footwork.
Thanks for having me. Yeah,
absolutely. So, to start off, we both come from Long Island, from Massapequa, hometown Massapequa. Shout out. Growing up there on Long Island, the standard of footballers or soccer players that have made it pro and athletes in general is quite high. How was growing up on Long Island for you in terms of sports?
Yeah, as you know, sports are a major facet of Long Island, and especially growing up with three brothers, it was always a competitive household. And as you said, like Long Island is just everyone's so close and so connected, whereas everyone's competing for different opportunities. And more specifically in soccer, I think there was just so much talent. There was so many great clubs. I stuck with Massapequa all throughout my club career, but my younger brother played at Gauchi, and I was kind of indifferent. I didn't know if I wanted to go to the academy route, but thankfully I just stuck with Massapequa, and it's paid dividends.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on growing up with your three brothers. Of course, I know Jimmy, Connor, and Dylan. Jimmy and Dylan both Dylan is currently playing in MLS with Nashville, and Jimmy had his stint as well. How was it only soccer in the household, or was there other sports involved as well?
Now, we grew up playing other sports. It was mostly soccer, but basketball was in the mix, baseball, and obviously just being from Long Island, everyone's throwing a football around.
Everything. Yeah.
Wiffle ball, just a mixture of sports. But yeah, I think growing up for me, it was kind of basketball and soccer were the two major sports. And actually in high school, I think I got more awards in basketball than actually in soccer.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Awesome. Yeah. So, was there ever a possibility of you going to college to play basketball? I didn't know that.
No. I never played like AAU. I think if I went that route, I probably would have. But Actually, when I was, I think a sophomore, I was like leaning towards quitting actually at soccer, like club ball soccer.
Wow.
Because I wanted to just focus more on basketball. But my dad kind of pulled me over. He was like, "Yeah, you're not gonna really get a scholarship at a prestigious school or like a decent school as you would with soccer." Because obviously my brothers went through this whole soccer route. So He kind of just convinced me on it. And then next year I got the offer from Hofstra.
Right.
And so, then you mentioned you mentioned with the three brothers and just the competition that you guys had. I mean, you and Dylan were the youngest, so you feel like that kind of shaped you guys, just kind of having to like play up to the older brothers level and kind of fighting to save face in the family.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Jimmy had a great career in high school, and it was kind of set a baseline almost, like we wanted to beat that or supersede that. And I think with Dylan and I being so close in age, we were kind of just always button heads and competitive in that route. And yeah, I mean, it's a blessing in disguise, that competitiveness and that just that great, I mean, the greatness that kind of comes from it.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine what life was like in that household, the daily life with the four of you. So then you made the jump to Hofstra. What made you make that decision? Were there other opportunities outside of Hofstra?
Richie used to work with Massapequa, and he kind of knew me from that, and he kind of knew me from my brothers. So he kind of scouted me early my junior year, and I committed early. And then I didn't really focus on any other schools because I committed early. I gave him my word. And I got a few like offers later on throughout my senior year, but I already told them I committed to Hofstra. And I loved it there. It was an awesome experience. I have a lot of lifelong friends, great memories. And it was just a blast going there.
Awesome.
You feel like there was a certain time, I mean, before college or during college, where you had that feeling like I could play professionally or I want to play professionally? When do you think that kind of came along?
Honestly, I never really had that until end of my senior year of college. So during
Oh,
high
wow. Late.
school, yeah, during high school, I more so I was just kind of focused on like my goal was like, oh, I want to start next year in college. That was more so
Mm.
I didn't really have a long term. It was just more immediate, and I thankfully I achieved that in college, like for that first freshman year, and yeah, I never really had the long term aspirations, but eventually they came, and thankfully they did.
Mm-hmm. So, so when did it become a reality? Was maybe seeing Jimmy make it happen? Was that like, okay, maybe I can do that too? Or was there a specific game or something your senior year where then it became like, all right, maybe I can play as well?
Yeah, my senior year we had, I think we set like more. I think it was like 12 shutouts in a row or
Mm-hmm.
14, something along those lines. And my Richie, my coach at Hofstra, was kind of talking to my ear like, you're playing real well. You ever have any aspirations of playing pro, whether it be like USL or MLS? And I kind of just shrugged it off. I was studying accounting at college, so I was kind of more towards that route. Then I went to a Red Bull Combine after the season. I played pretty well, and then they picked me up in the draft, and uh, I played pretty well during preseason, and they signed me after that. So I mean, it was a little bit of luck and a little bit of just being pushed towards that, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful for it.
So what was that whole experience like with the, I mean, it was just a Red Bulls combine. It wasn't like a
Yeah,
MLS or anything. It was a Red Bull specific.
yeah, I got invited to a few other, like the Toronto one, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a Vegas combine, but
Mm-hmm.
Hofstra's finals were really late, and I didn't feel like missing finals because this was before everything was online. So I don't think
Mm-hmm.
teachers really gave me that much leeway
No.
with it. So I could only really make the Red Bull one.
Okay.
It was
And it
I
more
was
see.
like
it
an
was
And
open
more
tryout, or was it with the
it was
team? Was it
more you had to be like invited, but it was more like local
Mhm.
colleges around that.
okay?
Okay.
It was like end
Yeah, I
of
see.
December. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
All right. So yeah. So then, I mean, the MLS draft is the next month. That's in January,
Yeah, I believe so. Mid January. Yeah.
mid-January. So quick, I mean, quick kind of turnaround to kind of being pushed into the combine as you quoted, and then, you get drafted. Did you know you were going to get drafted? And what is that experience like?
No, I didn't know I was getting drafted. I was actually at
You didn't have
home.
the whole white suit. You didn't have like the.
No, I wasn't that prepared. I worked out with a few guys at Hofstra in the morning, and they said, "Oh, the draft is today. Do you think you got a shot?" I kind of shrugged it off, didn't think anything. I was at home watching The Sopranos, just like reruns, and my brother at Georgetown, they were watching it because some of their players might have got drafted, and he was actually the first one to text me. And then I got the call from Red Bull and Chris Armas, and I was just ecstatic. Yeah, at the end of the day.
Imagine, yeah.
That's incredible. I guess it's even better when you didn't. You're deep in Sopranos and you get a text from your brother like, "Hey man, you just got drafted."
Yeah, it was pure emotion. Yeah, it was a great feeling. Yeah.
So did you wind up finishing the semester, or how does that work? Did you start right with the
So
Red Bulls, or?
then so I still had my spring semester left, and thankfully all the professors were cool. They taught. I had my uh, academic advisor talk to all my professors about my situation, and thankfully they let me take it all online. So I did online before online
Oh
was
wow,
cool.
you were you
Wow,
were the
you're an
first,
innovator,
yeah,
pioneer.
pioneer.
Yeah.
So
Then I
you
finished. Yeah, I
so you were
finished up that.
online, and then nice.
Yeah, that following spring I finished up, so it was cool.
So then, were you immediately training with the first team, or you were training with the second team? How did that work
Yes.
out?
So that preseason, all the draft picks got invited, and then Aaron was with the national team,
Mm-hmm.
and Tim and Amro actually got hurt. They were the other center backs. They got hurt
Mm-hmm.
in preseason. Nothing too drastic, but it was kind of like me and another guy were just the only real center backs there, and I played pretty well. So then they signed me during that second preseason camp. The first camp we went to Florida. The second one we were in Arizona. So they signed me during that second camp.
Right. And I mean,
Nice.
for
So
listeners out there, especially Europeans, with the MLS draft, you get drafted by a team, but it really is just means like they're inviting you on a trial with the team, basically.
Yeah.
So what was your mindset going into the training, because you don't have a contract yet? It's kind of just a trial with the team.
Honestly, I was just loving it. I just knew I had to just, like, the rest of my career, kind of just put my head down and work. I mean, I was never the most talented guy and most technical guy. I think what I do well is kind of just put my head down and work. And I was just grateful to be there. And I knew if I just stayed on the course, I would get my shot. And thankfully I did. And I played well enough to get that first contract.
Awesome. I feel like up until this point, I mean, maybe it continues to this day, but like you're not like you don't think too much about it. You just play. Like it's not.
Yeah.
You're not really looking so much in the future. You're kind of just in the present.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to have. You don't overthink things. I think
Right.
when a lot of people are kind of more like, there's a lot of anxiety from overthinking. I think if you just go out and do it, go out and play, it simplifies things. It makes it easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you started out with the USL team, right? You were playing for the second team mostly that first season.
Yeah, so I mean, it was actually a great experience. I mean, just playing games with the USL. Obviously, Tim and Aaron were playing ahead of me, and Amro too, and they just came off like one of the best defensive years the previous year. So they were playing most of those games, and I was playing in USL, and we actually had a pretty good start in USL. And like I said, it was great to just play in games. I mean, there's nothing that challenges you and gets you ready than just playing. And during that following June, Aaron left for international camp, and then I kind of got called into the roster and made my debut around that time.
And how was the level of USL compared to Hofstra?
Yeah, it was definitely an increase in talent and quality. I think it's a step up from college. It's obviously gotten better since then. I think it'll only get better as there's more talent in soccer in America. And I think that first year I had a lot of growing pains, growing steps during those games. And like I said, it was grateful, and I'm glad that I actually did play in those games. I didn't get thrown in right away to the first team. I think Red Bull does a great job with just kind of putting players in that system first, and then having them grow into a better player through the USL system.
Right.
At first, were you, I mean, maybe just a little bit disappointed, just because obviously we all want to prove ourselves? Like in the time, did you feel the same way, or were you like, oh damn, I wish I was on the first team and like things like this? Or did you kind of continue that mind state, like, okay, I'm here, I'm gonna put my head down, I'm gonna work and prove myself here?
Yeah, it was kind of just a little bit of both. I mean, obviously disappointed, but I mean, I had some of the best center backs playing in front of me, so like you got to be realistic with it. And obviously it was just like a hunger, like, oh, it was more so I looked at them like, oh, I want to get to that point. I'm not good enough now. I kind of looked myself in the mirror, been realistic. I was like, but how can I get there? And I think this is a step to get there. And obviously playing in USL, Aaron did it before. He was the defender of the year in USL. Then he made it and did the same thing in the MLS. So I kind of saw that and kind of looked at it, and I was like, wow, maybe I could do the same.
Yeah. And so during this time, you said you looked at yourself and you didn't feel good enough, and you're watching guys like Tim and Aaron who are, quality and the level that you want to get to. So what parts in your game did you feel like you really had to kind of narrow in and work on during that USL season?
I think just definitely the technical side of things. I mean, I was never, like I said, the most technical guy. So I would kind of just pull a coach over or pull a play over after practice and just kind of work on the technical side of things. And I think after doing that day after day after day, it kind of, it improved, that side of my game improved marginally. And I kind of still do that because, like I said, I'm not the most technical guy. So I think I will continue to do that. And that was kind of a pivotal point in helping my career.
Do you find that in general, just, I mean, throughout your career and even in the younger ages, do you feel like you were always one of the guys that was kind of putting in a little bit of extra work just to, because like you're only with the coaches for, I mean, an hour, 2 hours throughout the day, especially during like a main team practice. Do you feel like you kind of are characterized by putting in that work outside of that time?
Yeah. I think I'm always kind of one of the guys staying after either doing something fitness wise or technical. I don't know. I love being outside. I love doing the work. I don't know. I don't really play video games or anything of that stature, but I love just, I don't know, being outside because I was so close to having to work in an office or something of that nature. So I was like,
I mean, accountant and playing for the Red Bulls. I don't know.
yeah. So I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to ever do that. So if I could put some work, put extra work in kicking a ball or working on my technical side or the fitness, then I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Now, can you take us through a day or a week or both of, in season, what you as a Red Bulls player is doing?
Yeah. Today, so I got up. I like to stretch in the morning, like for like 20, 25 minutes. So I got up to stretch, then got over to the facility around 8:30. They have breakfast for us, and like not we have to be in by 9, and then guys kind of get work on through PT work or just kind of foam rolling, stretching out of that nature. And then around 10, we do some video, some film. We're preparing for Columbus on Saturday. We're both fighting for playoff spots. So we did a lot of film on that. And then after that, we hit the field. Today was kind of a light day though, so we were on the field for like an hour. And then afterwards, you could lift, do some extra work if you want on the field, and probably out of there by around 1:30, 2. So it was a pretty quick day today, but yesterday was a little more intense, so the practice ran a little longer.
Right.
So you said Saturday game, correct?
Yeah, Saturday against Columbus, in Columbus.
Okay, cool. So early in the week, is it kind of following any general trends where early in the week is kind of hard, and then as you get to the end of the week, it's maybe a little more tactical, a little more set piece work, things like this, and then the last day is pretty light?
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, we had off because of the NYC game, but usually, so Monday and Tuesday would have been, or rather Tuesday, Wednesday would have been pretty intense. And then today was more so set pieces and just kind of a walkthrough with a game plan. And then tomorrow will just be pretty light, but just a little 3v2 just to get the legs a little, get the legs moving, get a little sweat. But yeah, then pretty light because then we'll travel tomorrow as well.
Yeah, nice.
And how I mean, like I can't help but draw ties, or maybe it's something that it doesn't seem like you chose this because it kind of just worked out in this way, but you've seemed to stay local. You went to Hofstra and then to Red Bulls, and you haven't had to leave home. Of course, you're a little farther away from Massapequa, but you haven't had to leave home yet. Is that something you chose to do? You want to be close to family, or it just kind of worked out this way up until this point?
No, it kind of just worked out. I mean, obviously, family, friends are everything, but it kind of just it was lucky. I mean, I think I've been lucky up to this point. I'll always say I'm lucky, and yeah, it's just kind of worked out. Obviously, I love playing for Hofstra. I love playing here for the New York Red Bulls, and I don't know. It's almost like a dream come true, just playing locally.
Sure. And do you have any ambitions to play abroad or to play, on the other side of the country at some point in the future?
And if you can't answer these questions,
and we know you just signed an
extension, so I know these aren't the best questions.
I think everybody wants to play in those top leagues. I don't know if an opportunity ever came, then yeah. But I mean, I love playing for the New York Red Bulls. If I could play my whole career here, then I would love that.
Yeah, totally.
So I kind of want to touch on, we talked a little bit about it and just kind of the discipline of it, but the physical demands of playing in a league like MLS. I mean, maybe you've heard of it, like the quote that discipline equals freedom, and things like this. And how important is it to you, to the team, to, you know, guys that you have your circle around, to, you know, really take care of your body? And then what are some things that you kind of do for yourself to make sure that that routine goes smoothly?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important facets of just being a pro is taking care of your body, eating right, recovery, and that nature. I think there's that stigma like the MLS isn't like the best league, but I mean, I think there's a lot of talent, and people don't realize you travel so much in the MLS
Mhm.
compared to other countries. The US is so big, so you're always traveling, and the physicality side of things. I mean, the league is so physical, and then you're always traveling, so that's what makes it so difficult. And the quality is only getting better and better
Yeah.
as you guys have seen. Like Busio has been transferred to Italy, and all these other guys. So I think just taking care of your body is so important. And even like after practice, I usually just go for a light swim over by the gym near me,
Mm.
and just for extra recovery. And then I don't know, just get enough sleep is always important to me. I'm usually in bed like 9:30, 10, just because I'm usually
Oh,
so
nice.
shot. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's important too, because you don't play video games, so that's like the perfect. You
Yeah.
know, you can go to bed at those times.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I I like playing video games if someone's in the room with me, but like I don't know, I just can't do it
Solo,
if
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the travel for it is just can be insane. I mean, you could be playing in Miami and then you have to go up to Seattle. I mean, in England, maybe they travel 1 hour, 2 hours. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I've never experienced anything like that in terms of week in and week out. Like, do you feel that jet lag kind of take hold of you if you have to go from East Coast to West Coast or vice versa?
Yeah, yeah, that next day you're definitely shot. I mean, but
Mm.
like you said, and like I said, it's that sleep and that recovery is just it makes it even more vital. And if you're going out and being stupid, drinking or eating the
Mhm.
wrong foods, and you're just gonna feel even worse. So I think just proper recovery, and I've learned that over the last few years, just getting getting more in tune with eating the right foods and doing the right things.
Mhm.
Mhm. And do you have any specific nutrition trends, things that you like to abide by?
No, I don't really eat that unhealthy, no real fake foods. If like, I mean, kind of normal diet, so to
Mhm,
say. Just
mhm,
some meat, veggies, carbs. Just
Mhm.
typical.
mhm.
Keeping it simple, like everything else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
I
pretty
love it.
easy
This,
going.
this is the key to success here, people.
Yeah.
um, I mean, so you've. It seems like, I mean, from what I read, is that they're kind of building the team, and you are a staple of the team for sure. Bringing, I mean, you're only 24, but it seems to you have quite a leadership role in the Red Bulls. How has that come about, and how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think as a center back, you see most of the field except for the goalie, but you have to be a vocal voice in the back and
Mhm.
kind of a demanding role in the back. And uh, I think over the years I've gotten better at that, and I think I can do more, and hopefully I could strive to do more. But yeah, like you said, we're a young team, and I think everybody kind of grows up more when it's a young team because you need more leadership through everybody. And I think
Right.
we've done a great job this year, but it's still a growing process, and we still have more to do because we want to make playoffs.
For
Mm.
sure.
So just to speak on leadership even a little bit more, I mean, as a center back is a very, I mean, you see it in any of these teams is usually is a staple in terms of on the field things. So what kind of leader would you say you are? Are you one that's, you know, you put in the work and you're a little silent, but you kind of show it to everyone and you lead by example? Or do you feel like you're a different type of leader?
Yeah, I would say like that. I'm a little more reserved, but I would I would like to gradually get more vocal.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would like to just kind of put in the work and show it. And I think being a center back, you always have to move the line and
Mhm.
shift and lead through that way on the field. But I think it's even more important to lead off the field in a vocal manner with the right right words and right motivation for other people. So I think I could get better in that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we kind of skipped over it, but what was your debut like? How was that, and where was it?
It was in Dallas, probably April or early May. We won 2-0. I actually scored a goal, but it wasn't. So we had a corner kick. It came out as like a short corner kick and came to the top of the box. And when our right back shot it, it was Amir Murillo. He plays in for Anderlecht now. He shot it, and I was just kind of standing there, and it hit my face, and it went in. But if you ask me, outside of this, I'll say it was a real header.
It was a class goal.
Oh yeah, I saw it come in, redirected it. Nice, very nice, exactly. Easy on the debut. That's crazy.
And I mean, going into the game, was it once again like everything else? You kind of just like, just have fun, enjoy it, do what I've always done. Playing, of course, in a bigger crowd than you did at Hofstra or in college in general. What were you feeling going up into that game?
Yeah, I say I was a little nervous, but yeah, then as soon as the whistle blow and you start playing, complete a few passes, your confidence gets up, and you just kind of have a love for the game. And I don't know, I just was just in the moment after that, and it felt good to be out there.
Right.
So it doesn't seem like you are a guy who really ever got nervous during big games. Do you just have that kind of feeling like, let me just ease myself into it and I'll be good?
Yeah, I mean, like maybe beforehand I'll get a few butterflies, but yeah, just it is what it is. I'm gonna go in for it, and I'm gonna hopefully do my best. And I think it's worked out so far, and I'm thankful for that. And maybe I should change my attitude towards it, but
I don't know, man.
No, don't.
I think it's working perfectly.
Definitely do not. And I mean, how awesome is that you played against? So your younger brother Dylan is currently playing for Nashville, and he was on Miami as well. And I think you played him, right?
Yeah. Last year during our first game against Miami, we were actually both on the field together. That was the only time. So because we played Miami twice last year, and I was on the field, and then Nashville this year he wasn't. But it was really cool. I mean, obviously once we got into the game, we didn't really think about how cool it was until after. But it was obviously probably cooler for like my parents and friends and family home to be watching it. Unfortunately, due to COVID, they weren't in the stadium, but it was cool to be a part of, and I don't know, not many people could say it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's in terms of many as well.
Yeah, that's true. And in terms of just great moments in your career so far, I mean, you're only 24, so there's a long list of things that will come. But do you feel like that was up there in terms of kind of favorite moments, or like whatever?
Yeah. I would say that was pretty cool. I think some of the Derby wins this year were up there. And then I think my first year we beat Atlanta at home 1-0. We were actually down a man for most of the game, and we won the game 1-0. It was just, we suffered the whole game, just sitting in 10 men, and we snuck a goal in, and it was just surreal to be a part of that.
Oh, I bet. In terms of, I mean, MLS, it's a long schedule, a lot of travel. I mean, do you find it difficult sometimes to get up for games, or do you feel like your process kind of allows you to approach everyone fresh? Like, you know what I mean? Do you feel like some games it's just kind of like, oh, here we go again, and it just doesn't feel so energized or anything like this?
For me, no. I mean, I love playing the games, and obviously it's a little new for me because I've been more regularly playing in games this year, but I wonder if other players might get that feeling. I mean, I don't think I would, just because I love to play in games. I love games more than practice. Like, I mean, my favorite time of the year has been when we had, in September, we had 7 games in 21 days. And I love that. There was a game every day, every other day, So, I mean, I kind of get psyched up for every game, and I love to do that.
Nice. And so, I mean, you guys got about a month left, I believe, until the playoffs start. Point out of that last playoff space. I think even a game in hand. So, I mean, you guys got to think you have a good chance. How is the energy in the team and the coaches just making that playoff push right now?
Yeah, we feel real good right now. I don't think we've lost in 7 or 8 games, but we have 5 games left. 2 home, 3 away. So I think we have to win a couple, and yeah, we're feeling real good. But obviously, another tough test this weekend against Columbus. They won it all last year, so they got a lot of great players. So we got to bring our top game, and I hopefully we could come out on top.
Nice, amazing.
Awesome. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah,
we'll be watching
absolutely
for sure.
Thank you.
Tough to watch the MLS games here because of the 6 hours, but I usually do find the highlights. And I mean, we talked off camera. We played maybe a few times together in the summer league, but I regularly check to see if you play and see if you got that second goal yet. I know it's coming.
Yeah, soon. I should have got one this past weekend, but my own teammate got in the way for a corner.
So.
Yes, I did see that on the highlights.
Where are you guys located now?
So we're both in northern Germany.
Okay, cool.
Different cities, but close to each other.
Okay.
But yeah, awesome. We've been here for a few years now. Maybe one day we'll get back to you.
You guys go to any games over there yet?
Yeah, we've been to just 2 games so far. We went to Germany, Netherlands. It wasn't a friendly, so it was a good competitive game. All the best players played. Yeah. And then a Hamburg game, but they're in the second league. Second Bundesliga.
I went to a St. Pauli game this year as well. So another second league game. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's like it's the ultras as they're called. I just I feel like they're gonna rush the field at literally any moment.
Yeah, it's a different lifestyle over there.
Yeah.
Have you played in any like Concacaf Champions League games, or were you guys in that before you were getting starts?
So my debut off the bench, I actually played in. We played some team from. I don't know. We beat them handily, like 3 or 4-0. So I just came in at the end, just made it. That was my actual debut off the bench. But yeah, that was the only Concacaf game I played in.
Was that home or away?
It was home at Red Bull. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's another thing. Like here, also been to PSG Stadium, and like you said, it's crazy over here, the fans. But I mean, the MLS also has a good fan base, and it's just getting better and better every year. Or what is maybe your favorite stadium away to play at?
So
in terms of atmosphere,
Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, they play in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah,
and they actually have a great soccer fan base down there. They get like I think the stadium holds over 70,000, but they get probably around like 60. And actually,
that's a lot.
My first year, I wasn't playing too well. I handballed 2 games back to back against Vancouver and Philly in the box, and we ended up losing both games. So then a few games later, I got called in, and the coach at the time calls me in, like, "Are you ready to play in Atlanta?" Because it was going to be packed crowd and big atmosphere. And then I actually ended up playing one of my better games in Atlanta. It was unreal scenes. There are fireworks inside, 68,000 people. You could barely hear 10 feet away. So it was actually a great experience to be a part of that.
It's amazing. How do you feel about the newer teams, like, the Austin, the Nashville? How do you feel about playing in these new places? You feel like these are the right cities to choose, or did you have a good time there?
Yeah. I mean, I think all these expansion teams kind of struggle at first to get their feet on the ground. But all their
Cincinnati
stadiums,
too,
all their stadiums are awesome. Like even Columbus has a new stadium that's unreal. Cincinnati has a great new stadium. We haven't been in Austin's or Nashville's yet, but Miami's is pretty cool. So I think they'll only get better from here.
Yeah.
Now, anytime when you play, you seem like a guy who kind of gets swallowed in the game, so maybe you don't think about the names or anything. But have you come up against any players, maybe who have come from Europe or South America or something like this, and just you think for a second, like, wow, like, holy shit, I'm playing Gonzalo Higuain, for example. Yeah, like have you ever had this moment, or maybe after the game, or?
No, not really. Just because most of these teams spend that money on the DPS, and it's going to be a forward. So
Right.
it's like I kind of I can't really be enamored in who they are. I
No,
just
you
kind of
can't
have to,
afford to.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, I have to go out and play well, or else they'll embarrass me. So I think, yeah, I just my mindset's going in. I have to play well. I'm not really focused on them too much because
Right.
they're all the forwards are kind of great players in the league.
Sure. I mean, Blaise Matuidi is also there. I mean, he won a World Cup.
Yeah.
Who's the best player you played up against so far?
Like I said, all these forwards have been top notch.
Who's the
I
best
think
player that you kept in your pocket for 90 minutes?
it's a team effort. All these shutouts.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer.
There's a lot of good players. I mean, Castellanos is pretty good for NYC. Zardes, he's a quality player. Yeah, I mean Joseph Martinez, he's obviously top goal scorer in Atlanta. I think any of these forwards in the league have been top notch, and I don't know, it's great to play against all of them.
Yeah, nice. I mean, so you kind of talked about it in terms of you made some mistakes at Atlanta with the handballs and stuff like this. So, I mean, the pressure must amount in a league like the MLS, and from press to fans to your own organization for playing time, teammates, the pressures could sneak up in any of these situations. How do you feel like you personally deal with that pressure, and what advice would you give to others that could, kind of come into your shoes maybe later?
Yeah, I think if you want to succeed, you're going to have to overcome pressure at some point, and I think those failures kind of helped me become the player I am. I've learned from it. Even minuscule failures like not being in the right position at the right time, you kind of, if you study it in film enough and go over it and ask coaches for help, you'll get better in that route. And I think, as we stated earlier, if you just kind of put your head down and work, the results will come from themselves, and just have confidence in your ability that it will be right. But be open to learning, be open to asking for help from coaches. And I think I've done that, and I think I'll continue to do that because it'll only help my game.
I like that. So you feel like it's very important to just maybe kind of put the ego aside and always think of like, I can get better. Do you spend a lot of time analyzing your own game with coaches, or looking at other players, or kind of putting in that personal work, whether it's with film or any other way, just to work on those areas a lot?
We generally do a lot of film during the year. So in that aspect, yeah, we do a lot of film together. But I mean, I like to watch the games over after I play them. So I just kind of watch my own game after the fact online. So yeah, a little bit of both. We have a kind of a collaborative effort, and then I like to do it on my own too.
You like to do that?
And then,
I mean, we've talked about this many times. You like to do that right after, or do you give it a day's rest and then you watch it?
Usually a day's rest. I mean, sometimes like due to adrenaline and all the facts, I can't really sleep that well. So like
Right.
I'll just, hey, I'll turn up the laptop and just go watch first half or even the whole game, and take things from there.
Right.
And I think a lot of people might kind of overdo it in terms of, I mean, there's kind of a medium, and you kind of want to have a good balance. Do you feel like you do a good job of kind of taking your mind away from soccer when it's needed?
Yeah. I think on an off day, you don't really need to just be getting after it. I think what I've learned is to learn to do nothing on an off day, like put in that work during the days you need to, but I've kind of had to learn to just kind of chill and do nothing on those off days, because a groin injury, I had a strain right next to the pubic bone, so it was kind of intense strain, and I think it was just from doing too much too often. I think during those off days, I generally had to rest because I was playing the most games at the highest level that I've ever played at in a quick succession. So I think it was just taking a toll on my body, and I wasn't really properly taking those off days to just do nothing, relax, and forget about the game. So I think, as you said, it's important to just get away sometimes, find a hobby that's not soccer. I mean, I'm not any good at golf, but I'll occasionally just go hit some.
That's funny, because for some reason I was going to ask golf. I just felt like I don't know, maybe Long Island, you know?
Yeah, I usually try to just shoot some hoops or just play golf. I don't know, something to just get away, like you said, just
Yeah.
get it out a little bit.
And it must be, I mean, it must be nice to kind of have that support system. Your family is very close, so I'm sure. I mean, do you look to them when you kind of need to get away from the game too?
Yeah, yeah, obviously. I mean, in the summers on Long Island are great, as you guys both know. So I usually just
Mm-hmm.
hit them up, try to go back to the beach with them or something along those lines. And I mean, it's great to just always catch up with family and just relax in that sense.
Yeah.
Nice,
Absolutely.
amazing.
Now, do you have a process for, pursuing achieving goals? Do you set goals in the future, or are you just sticking to in the moment, doing your thing? And
Yeah, I set like kind of like a goal kind of for the year. Like this year, I wrote down, uh, hey, I wrote down to myself, I would like
Mhm.
to be defender of the year, but I mean, that injury kind of subsided me for a long while, so I don't think I'll achieve that. But I kind of write down kind of goals, not really long term, well,
Mhm.
just maybe over the year, and then I'll try
Mm-hmm.
to reevaluate myself after that. But yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think quotes are kind of important to me. I
Mhm.
like to write down quotes that I find meaningful, and then yeah, that's about it. And sort of goal setting for on my part.
To put you on the spot, do you have any quotes you could rattle off for us that like, you really that really ring true with you or you really look to? And
Yeah,
yeah, I thought
I've
there might be some,
yeah,
always
I've
could always be a good quote around.
Yeah.
yeah, I have one. The more you sweat on the training ground, the less blood on the battlefield.
Mm,
And then I have the right man in the right place is a devastating weapon.
Mm.
mm,
Just some quotes from some different books I have just hanging around that I like.
mm.
Just something that I feel like resonates.
Sure. Do you have any books that you
Yeah.
recommend now that you mentioned that?
Yeah, I enjoy kind of biographies.
Mhm.
So three best biographies I probably read were Where Men Win Glory, the Pat Tillman
Mm.
biography, Undisputed Truth with Mike Tyson, and then Nelson Mandela's biography. Can't think of the name of it right now. Uh, but yeah, those three are probably three of my favorites. So, but yeah, I
Nice.
Nice.
like to read in my spare time. It kind of just, like you said, gets away. You get away from thinking about too much
Mm,
of the game.
Yeah.
yeah. And it's a lot better for you than some other mediums too. So that's
Yeah, yeah.
perfect again. That's amazing. So, I mean, we talked about it before, but you recently just signed a 3-year extension with the Red Bulls. So I'm just interested, does that come down to your belief in the team and the coaches and the organization? Do you feel like this is the best place for you to grow as an individual and then also grow as a leader and as a part of a good team?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I love playing here. I think the system in which we play, kind of a uh, high pressing system where we have to be on our feet and we're kind of one on one defensively as center backs. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
love it, and I think I
Mm-hmm.
thrived in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'll only continue to get better here. And obviously, I'm grateful that they drafted me. They took a chance on me, and hopefully, I could repay them with, just playing well and getting a lot of wins here. And hopefully, we could get the MLS Cup one day.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Any MLS Cup or national team call-ups in the future?
Hey,
Is that
maybe
one
that's
of
a
the
goal of
goals?
mine in the future. But as of now, I mean, the national team looks pretty solid. So I wish them all the best. But again, hopefully, I could just continue to strive, continue to get better. So hopefully, push some people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love it. And what about one characteristic that embodies yourself?
I would probably say discipline. Yeah, I mean, I'm very like I have a very set routine. I mean, if you know
Mhm.
what I do one day, you'll know where to find me on any given day. I'm I'm set with my routine, and I think it's just discipline. Like I said, it's kind of embodies me.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
And to transfer that same kind of question to a team, what is one thing that you need to have in a team environment, or one thing that's very important for you to have in a team environment?
I think I think a successful team would be trust. I think
Mm,
during the beginning of this year, it's not that we didn't trust each other, but we didn't have that innate trust. We kind of had a high turnover of players from last year, but we haven't really seen our success until like these last few months when we really got to know each other, got to trust one another, and just kind of got to enjoy to be in each other's presence, you know?
Right. Build that team chemistry. And it takes time. Like when you have a turnover like that, you got to get to know people.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we could stick on that then. What are some ways that you get to know your teammates? Because you're coming into a bit of a leadership role there on the team. When someone new comes in or you're new on the team, what are some things you like to do to get comfortable in the environment?
I think it's easy. It's easy if you make yourself open and make yourself available. I think through breakfast, just sitting together, or lunch, sitting together, and then I think during off days, just spending some time together, getting to know each other. I think that's important. And then I think just on the field, being open with communication. I think that's important to getting to know and getting to trust one another. And I think, as you said, over time, it'll just become natural, and you'll be able to trust your partner. And I think as a center back, that's vital. You know, it's a guy you want to be able to lean on.
Yeah. Awesome.
Did you have any people? I mean, even when you were a few years younger, maybe or people now that you kind of look at and think this is a leadership that, you know, I kind of want to embody. Do you take a lot of things from players before you, players that are a bit older than you too?
Yeah, I think if we stick to leadership and being vocal, I think two guys that are very good at it were my first year, Luis Robles. He was the captain at the time, and then now Sean Davis. They're very vocally present, and I think I take little bits and pieces of what they say and how they say it, and try to apply it into my mind, and hopefully maybe apply it into the future at some point. So I think it's important to kind of mimic people in the right ways.
Love it. So then we could finish up with our final question. So here at Footwork, the podcast is our motto is make your own path, essentially following your own dream, not going the route like your accountant route, sitting in a 9-to-5, doing what everyone would say is the safe route. Do you find this idea important in your life, and how would you say you've made your own path?
I would say, what was the first part of that question? Sorry.
So it's just how important is making your own path and doing, what you feel is right or what you love to do versus going the route that society tells you to take.
Yeah, I think too many people enjoy comfort. I think you have to get out of that comfort zone. And I think it's so important to get out of the comfort zone. I mean, it'll change your whole life. It'll change your whole worldview. I think you don't want to be stuck in what you're doing. And I think years down the line, when you look back at your life, you want to say, wow, whatever I did was a great time doing it. I learned so much. I wasn't stuck in one setting. I think in that process, you have to be open to learn. And I don't know, with my mentality, I think it's more so just go with the flow and do it with a smile. But I think it's a little more difficult for some people, but I think that's more the attitude people should have, is just whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to enjoy doing it because it's going to be my goal, and go after your goals just with a smile through the thick, through the thin. And I think that's important.
Amen.
Love that.
Mic drop.
Love that. Amen. Yeah.
So until next time,
keep moving forward.
Keep learning.
Make your own path.
There you go. Thank you, Sean.
Love it. Sean, thank you so much, man.
Footwork is sponsored by ourselves, but also Kong Fitness and Merchant Designs, baby. Follow us on Instagram at Footwork_podcast. Twitter is at Footwork Podcast. YouTube and Facebook, just check out Footwork Podcast, search it. Email us if you need anything, any questions at footworkpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, plug, pass. Tell your parents, Amazon delivery guy, mailman, I don't know who, just tell them. Like, subscribe, review, all of it helps. Danke.